Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, your go-to source for verified updates on Iraq's evolving currency strategy and the global economic landscape surrounding the dinar. As of the current date in the USA, we're bringing you one of the most significant reports of the year, confirmation that Phase 1 of Iraq's two-stage dinar revaluation plan has officially launched. This isn't rumor, it's documented fact. The Iraq Gazette has formally released the framework, and the policy is already being put into action. For years, speculation swirled about when and how Iraq would restructure the dinar. That speculation is over. The government has chosen a path built on caution and long-term strategy. Rather than rushing headfirst into a sudden revaluation, Iraq is executing a two-phase plan designed to create sustainable value and prevent economic disruption. According to the Gazette, Phase 1, labeled the Stabilization Adjustment Period, is now active. This stage involves the Central Bank of Iraq methodically adjusting the exchange rate based on national reserves, economic growth, and fiscal health indicators. So what does that mean for dinar holders and the market at large? Phase 1 is intended to lay the groundwork for future appreciation. While it won't deliver an overnight explosion in value, it does introduce a steady upward shift. Iraq's economy has been steadily improving thanks to higher oil production, GDP gains, and increased regional cooperation. This recalibration of the exchange rate is designed to reflect that recovery in a controlled and deliberate manner. The goal is to build confidence without triggering instability. Rather than shocking the system, this phase is about setting a firm economic foundation. And while the adjustment may appear gradual, its implications are significant. A rising rate, even incrementally, sends a clear message to international investors, banking institutions, and economists around the world. Iraq is no longer in a holding pattern. The nation is actively strengthening its currency under a managed, accountable process. The power of this strategy lies in its structure. By avoiding abrupt jumps in valuation, the central bank can observe how markets react, how citizens adapt, and how businesses respond. This allows for feedback, fine-tuning, and course correction before transitioning into Phase 2. In short, Iraq is building a runway before takeoff, and this time, the takeoff appears to be real. Looking ahead, Phase 2 is what many have been waiting for. Referred to in the Gazette as the market liberation stage, this phase will involve broader flexibility in the exchange rate mechanism, potentially transitioning Iraq into a partially or fully open currency model. That means the dinar could eventually float in a more global context, allowing true market demand to influence its value. Analysts agree that this second phase is where the most dramatic valuation shift could occur, but only if Phase 1 is successful. What makes this plan especially credible is that Iraq isn't working in isolation. The Gazette highlights active coordination with major institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. These global financial bodies bring credibility, oversight, and technical resources to the table. Their involvement signals that this isn't a spontaneous political decision, it's a calculated move with institutional backing. And their participation increases the likelihood that this plan will proceed in accordance with global best practices. Meanwhile, inside Iraq, local banks are already preparing. Staff are undergoing retraining, digital infrastructure is being modernized, and internal systems are being aligned with the new framework. Documentation procedures are being put in place to handle increased exchange activity, particularly as international engagement ramps up. There's a sense of urgency on the ground, but also professionalism and coordination. This is not the wild speculation of the past. This is real-world policy being implemented with discipline. Reports from Baghdad, Basra, and Erbil suggest that both the public and business owners are cautiously optimistic. Citizens are watching closely. Many have seen reform promises fall short before, but this time things feel different. This time, there's official documentation, institutional alignment, and clear public rollout. The tone inside Iraq has shifted. While skepticism still lingers, understandably so after years of delays and half measures, there's a growing sense that this is no longer just talk. Iraq's financial institutions are not only updating systems, but actively preparing for a broader monetary transition, and the people are beginning to notice. Conversations on the street, in marketplaces, and online have turned toward the future of the dinar in a way that hasn't been seen in years. Hope, while still cautious, is taking root. For dinar holders outside Iraq, the message is clear: now is the time to prepare. Phase 1 may not bring massive immediate returns, but it sets the conditions for something greater. If you own Iraqi currency, ensure your holdings are documented, secure, and free from hype-drugman misinformation. Stay connected to official updates and ignore platforms offering shortcuts or unverified insider access. This is not a get-rich-quick scenario. It's a slow, structured path toward long-term value creation. One of the most important takeaways from this phase is Iraq's intent to avoid the mistakes of the past. The government has emphasized discipline, patience, and transparency. The comparison to nations like Kuwait and Egypt, who executed phased monetary reforms successfully, has been drawn repeatedly by analysts. Iraq appears to be modeling its approach after those examples, but with its own tailored application to fit its economic realities and geopolitical context. And that context is shifting rapidly. Iraq's oil output continues to rise, regional trade agreements are expanding, financial technology within the country is being modernized at a faster pace than before. If these trends continue, the dinar won't just appreciate numerically, it will gain something even more valuable: credibility. That's what truly underpins a strong national currency, and it's why so many are watching Iraq's next moves carefully. Of course, this momentum is not immune to risk. Geopolitical developments, volatility in oil prices, or internal political disputes could slow down or complicate the roadmap. But this time, the foundation seems stronger. There is a published legal plan. There is alignment among ministries, there is international backing, and there is public awareness. These are not small factors. They are the exact ingredients needed to see a reform of this scale through to completion. People across Iraq and around the world are now asking the same question: when does Phase 2 begin? While no exact date has been released, economic analysts suggest that if current indicators remain stable, a transition to the next phase could begin as early as the next fiscal quarter. That's when Iraq may shift from a tightly managed adjustment to a more flexible market-drawn model, and that's when larger revaluation effects may come into play. Until then, the best strategy is to remain informed and be prepared. Don't chase rumors. Don't fall into emotional decisions, and certainly don't make assumptions based on unverified sources. Trust is built on facts, and the facts today are these. Iraq has begun Phase 1. The roadmap is official. The groundwork is being laid, and the rest of the world is watching carefully. The smart move now is to make sure your documentation is ready, your financial strategy is thought out, and your expectations are realistic. This may not be the final chapter, but it's undoubtedly the beginning of the transformation. Iraq's dinar is moving forward not because of empty promises, but because of structured, legally anchored reform. That's the difference this time, and it's a major one. Thank you for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar News. If this update helped you better understand where things stand and what's coming next, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Are you planning to hold your dinar through both phases? Do you think Iraq will see this plan through before the year ends? Let us know what you believe. Stay alert, stay informed, and most of all, stay ready, because the change so many have waited for may finally be within reach.